Welcome back to Spring Into Math 5. This is Mr. Stein here again, and today we're talking conversions. Okay, so conversions. So first let's look at a couple different units of measure, and we'll talk about how they convert from one form to another. So we have capacity. So when we look at the units of capacity, then we're going to look at the equivalent unit of a different, of capacity, but just in a different size. So when we talk about 2 cups is going to be equivalent to 1 pint. Then we have 2 pints, which is equivalent to 1 quart, and we have 4 quarts, which is equivalent to 1 gallon. Now, what I would do is briefly take a moment, pause the video right where you can see this graphic, and write those down. It's not very many, it's just a few, but make sure you have them because we're going to use them later. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing with length. So we have our units and we have our equivalent unit. So we have 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. Then we have 3 feet is equal to 1 yard. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky and it's not something that we use every day, so definitely write these down. We have 1,760 yards is equal to 1 mile. And then we have 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. And this is what we talked about with the metric system last time. Then we have 1,000 meters is equal to a kilometer. And then this is a really tricky one. This is 2 2/10 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. So again, take a moment, jot those down so you have them. Okay, now let's discuss weight. All right, we have 16 ounces is equivalent to 1 pound. 2,000 pounds is equivalent to 1 ton. And then for some reason I added yards to miles, so let's talk about it again. We have 1,760 yards is equal to a mile. Okay, now use the charts to make the conversion. So you have the charts from before. Hopefully you went, paused them, and wrote them all down with capacity and weight and length. Now, when we're talking 2 kilometers is equal to how many meters? So really what you're thinking is you have to remember, you multiply when you convert from a larger to a smaller unit. We talked about that a couple of lessons ago. Anytime you're going big to small, you have to multiply because you're going to have more of them. Okay, so remember, you have 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. So if you have 2 kilometers, you're going to have 2,000 meters because it's just 2 times 1,000. All right, now let's talk about 3 pounds is equal to how many ounces? Okay, so again, remember, when you're converting from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you're going to multiply. You're going to have more ounces than you have pounds because there's a bunch of ounces in a pound. There's 16 ounces in 1 pound. Okay, so then again, if you're thinking, well, 3 and I have to multiply, I'm basically saying 3 times 16. And so if you were to write it down, 3 times 16, let's just do it. So we have 16. I'm going to multiply that by 3. All right, so we have 3 times 6 is 18. Put an 8 down, carry the 1 up. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we have 48 ounces are in 3 pounds. All right, now let's talk feet to yards. So we have 12 feet. How many yards is that going to be? So now this time we're going from something smaller to something larger. So you're going to have more feet than you are yards, so you're going to need to divide. So remember, anytime you go small to large, you're going to divide. So since 1 yard is equal to 3 feet, you're essentially just dividing 12 divided by 3. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. So there's going to be 12 feet is equal to 4 yards. Okay, so that's going to kind of wrap up this mini lesson on conversions. We're going to talk more conversions next time. See you then.